Hello there, welcome along. I'm Eric Reno and this is a video for Photo Focus, and in this video we're looking at a reasonably new thing that's come into Photoshop called neural filters. Now if you've seen any of my videos before, you will know that I am, well, let's say I'm an Adobe fanboy, but I've got some mixed feelings about these filters, so let me jump in and explain what I mean. Okay, so I'm going to start off in Bridge as per usual, and you can see I've got two images ready to go. I'm going to open up this video that is called Man That Looks Perfectly Fine, and he does look perfectly fine. Now if I go up to Filter and Neural Filters, you can see that there's this whole new batch all ready to go, and the first one here is called Skin Smoothing. Now we've got Skin Smoothing and Style Transfer available to us here, and then we've got this little tab which is the beta filters. So these aren't ones that are quite ready yet, but we will look at some of them that are available. All right, let's start with Skin Smoothing. We've got to turn this on. Now the first thing you'll notice is this little thing up in the top right hand corner. Now what this is telling us is that Photoshop is sending this image off to the cloud so that it can add in the filters that we're working on. So if I was to change the blur value here, so if I bring the blur value up, you can see that that then starts rolling again to add a bit of blur to the gentleman's face. That was perfectly fine to start with. So we can do that, and we can add some smoothness, and again off it goes to the cloud to do its thing. Now if you are running a less than perfect computer, this can be really helpful because there's a very powerful computer in the cloud. However, if you're running a reasonably powerful computer, I'm running this on a MacBook Pro, it works absolutely fine. We could do this. In fact, I do this quite a lot in Photoshop anyway. So, you know, we're talking about more time for a simple job. And I put simple in inverted quotes there because I do understand who these filters are aimed at. It's people that maybe don't have a lot of knowledge of Photoshop, that haven't had a lot of experience in Photoshop, but need something very quick and easy just to get some images maybe ready for the social media. So don't think these are aimed at portrait photographers, but at social media people, and that's absolutely fine. I do a lot of stuff for social media, but I wouldn't use this. But anyway, that's another thing. Let's have a look at the filters. So you can see that it smoothed him out, and it's made him a bit more blurry on the skin. And this is something that Photoshop is very good at. It's very good at finding skin tones. It's very good at finding edges. So in this case, it would have found the edges around the eyes and that kind of thing. And we can see that if we come down here. So the output down the bottom here, we have a choice. We can go to the current layer, so we can override what we've already done, duplicate the layer and it's masked, or a new layer, or a smart filter. Now a smart filter would be my way to go, to be honest with you. Current layer, you're going to lose any work that you've already done, so that in Photoshop terms we call this non-destructive because you can work in layers. But if you go on to the current layer, it will be destructive, as to will be the no, tell a lie, unlike the duplicate filter, which will duplicate everything but it'll be flat, so you've almost got a new starting point. Okay, I'm going to go for the duplicate layer and masked, and when we click OK, we're then going to go back into Photoshop, and you can see that it has indeed on this mask, and I will make that bit more obvious for you. That is the mask. So if you're new to Photoshop, you're not got a lot of experience, let me just tell you that where it's black, we'll be able to see the original image, and where it's white, we will see the image that we're working on. So it's almost, I call it a black hole to try and remember. So you're looking through this particular layer to the layer below where it's black. So only where it's white is this filter taking on the filters that we added in the neural filters. Now working with masks means that we can easily adapt that. So you can see it wasn't covering this side of his face particularly well, or in these creases. Actually, that's a good thing, but we could paint that in white if we wanted to. Now I say that's a good thing because it keeps some of the texture of the skin, which is what we're looking for. Now I'm surprised about this filter because I was really under the impression and hopeful that we were moving away from the sort of soft skin kind of thing, and people were going for more of a natural look. So that's why I've got a little bit of hesitancy about this. But we can see the difference if I turn that layer off. You can see the before where he was perfectly fine. Now let me zoom that in for you a little bit. He was perfectly fine, and then that's overdone really, but you can see where it's working. It's left the eyes and the mouth alone. Okay, I'm going to close that one down and let's look at another one. Let's don't save. And in Bridge, you'll notice that I've got another one that's called Lady that looks perfectly fine. And again, she does. So we can take this filter, neural filters, and again, we can turn on the smooth skin and we can add a little bit of that, and we can take some of the blemishes away. Now, I'm not against taking blemishes away as a retoucher and somebody that does a lot of stuff for social media. My rule is if it's a permanent thing, it stays. If it's not permanent, and it goes. So quite often people are very grateful that you've taken away some pimples or something like this. I don't know how I got that, but anyway, that's all you're looking at now, isn't it? Let me just that's that's better. So you can see now that it has got rid of some of those temporary features of the lady's skin without going too far, I suppose. But that's entirely up to you. But again, it's that whole going off to the cloud thing that I've got issues with. Now, I'm quite happy to say that I'm a Photoshop snob. I may well be. It's a phrase that I've managed to avoid for some time, but I'll let you decide. If you think I'm a Photoshop snob, tell me in the comments below. I'm happy to accept that that's what's happening here. Anyway, there you go. So we've got this lady's face. I'm going to cancel out of that and we'll take her back. I'm going to close that one off and go back into Bridge, and this time I'm going to go into this folder, and I'm going to bring up this lady. We'll be working a lot with this lady during the next few minutes. And the next neural filter that we will try, neural filter, is the other one that is all ready to go. No need for any work on this. It's called Style Transfer. Now, the idea of this is that it will take something from one image, the style from one image, and put it on the image that you're bringing in. So you can see that when I clicked that, that's when it started. So this is a much longer winded process. Again, I may have some issues with that. It's all about time. For the last however many years, Adobe have been very good in stopping you from being in front of your camera, from being in front of your computer and getting you in front of your camera, and that's kind of been the way it's going. This is more social media based, so I understand that, you know, that's going to be more computer based, but maybe it's a mindset that I need to get over. Now, we can see that we've got lots of different styles here. I'm going to click on another style. Let's try this one, Van Gogh, I don't know. So I'm going to click now. Off it goes up into the cloud. It has that style attributed to it, and then it comes back. Again, quite time consuming. I have an app on my phone that does this, and I thought it was quite slow. This maybe takes a bit more time. Just saying. I will be positive about these filters in just a little while, by the way. I'm not going to completely pan them. They are fit for purpose, but it's not a purpose that maybe I have. So once we've applied this filter, then we can go on, and you can see there's quite a few. We can change the style strength, the brush size, and blur the background should we wish. So we can preserve the color and focus on the subject. Great stuff. Again, what Photoshop is really good at, which is working with color, edges, and looking for the subject matter. But if I was to take the style strength down, you can see we're going back to going up to the web, but actually it doesn't take quite so long this time. The brush size, there we go, and up it goes. There we go. It's doing it a bit more locally, I think. So there we go. There's that. It has its place, but maybe not for me. I think there are better ways to do it. Again, you can, I'm just saying, again, you can choose how you want to save this out. Now, you can save it as a smart filter, which is fabulous. Let's go and click OK there. You can work on these with smart objects as well, but there you can see that it has made it into a smart object to apply the smart filter to. So if you forget to make it into a smart object before you go into these neural filters, that's absolutely fine. It will do that process for you. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that, and let's have a look at some other bits and bobs. So I'm going to close that one. That looked a bit blurred for my liking. Okay, let's bring in another one. Okay, so what do we want to go on next? Let me just double check where we're at next, because now we're going into the beta filters, and these ones are not yet ready for public release. They're kind of being tested, and getting some Adobe getting feedback for it. But before we go into that next filter, I want to go to filter and convert for smart filters, and then filter and then Liquify. Now this is an absolutely stunning filter, very, very good. And a few years ago this was added to the iPad version of Photoshop, and you could do all that I'm about to show you. Then it came into Photoshop, so it was on the mobile version first, then it came into Photoshop, and it just blew me away, absolutely blew me away. Now again, I prefer more natural and don't like to change too much, but this is very, very clever. Bear with me, I'll explain why I'm showing you this in just a second. So we can change the eye size and the eye height. I'm going to go quite extreme here, by the way. The eye width will widen that up. You can see how it's working there. We're just working on the left eye, to us, the left. And then we can tilt the eye as well, should we wish. Now let's reset all, and then we can link these up as well, so that we can do it all in together. There we go. Eye height, eye width, tilt the eyes, nice, and eye distance we can. Now, if you are a portrait photographer, maybe a fashion photographer, these are ideal. We can also change the nose and the mouth. Again, I have no problem with the way that this lady looks, of course, but I do want to draw your attention to this one. It's called Smile. Are you happy to see me? Yes, I am. Are you sure? No, I'm not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. So you can see that it's, if you play with this very subtly, it can make the world of difference. We can also make her a bit more pouty, should we wish. And of course, this works just as well on male subjects. So there we go. There we go. All right. So really nice, really easy. And it's doing it dynamically right in front of me. Let's go over to the neural filters. And you can see that the first one on these betas is Smart Portrait. Let's turn that on. We have Be Happy, Surprise and Anger here. So let's click Be Happy and let's make her reasonably happy. You can see it goes off to the cloud. We wait for it, and here it comes. She's going to be happy. Any second now. Here she goes. She's going to be happy. There you go. She's happy. Now, yeah. So look, I'm British. That looks fine to me. Not a problem. But I'm pretty sure that some of my friends across the pond will not be happy with that result at all. And I've only just tweaked that up just a little bit. So, that was a lot of time to get that result that I'm not overly comfortable with. So I might tweak that down a little bit. There we go. Let's take it down just to 5 levels of happiness. And off it goes again to the cloud, and it then By the way, like and subscribe. Oh, here we go. So not quite so happy, but again, you know, she's got a lovely gap in her teeth. All the best people do, but not convinced. Okay, let's undo that. Let's make a 10 degrees of anger here. Now again, back in that first filter, in the Liquify filter, we could have brought her eyes down, we could have made her unhappy, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, oh, she's angry now. Oh, she's angry. Actually, that doesn't look too bad. Again, not overly convinced about the way that it's dealt with the teeth there, but you know, she does at least look angry. I'm going to turn that off. Okay. Now, one of the ones that you may have seen going around on social media is the facial age. So we can age people. I'm going to bring this right up. Just this is, again, to the extreme. Photoshop is incredibly good at seeing faces, and I've said this before. So there we go. We've aged her, and that works pretty good. Obviously, we've whacked it right up, but it's done well. It hasn't actually noticed that, you know, we've got the hair coming down here, but that's fine. We can deal with that. But the face aging is very good. And of course, this is one of those filters on the mobile device that was doing the rounds some time ago, and it was really popular until it was discovered that perhaps it wasn't the safest program to use or the safest app to use. So the fact that this is now in Photoshop, which is trustworthy, is nice. It's good, it works well, and we can use it knowing that our data is safe. Hair thickness I quite like. I'm going to bring it up to 22 degrees of hair thickness. Again, we can see how it is working. Let's double click on the hand just to come back to 100% there. And it's made our hair a bit more lush, a bit more thick. I know some of my friends could do with that, but there you go. So it's really clever. Now the next one I want to show you, let's go over to Bridge, and let's just get a different image just for now, where we can see it working a little bit better. So I'll open this one. You can see this come from Fotolia. I've had these kicking around for a while. Fotolia is now Adobe stock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a filter and Neural Filters, and this time in that beta filter, in the Smart Portrait, I can come down here and we can look at head direction. So let's bring this up to 10ish. I don't know what the 10 is, but just watch her face there when this comes into action, or her head there. It is quite extraordinary the way this works. This is all down to Adobe's AI, which is called Adobe Sensei. So it's looking at the face, it's seeing how the face is constructed, and then it's able to reconstruct the face and the head shape, and turn the head a little bit. There you go, which I find quite brilliant. So there's the before, and well, the after you'll have to wait for again. But you know, we can go. Let's go right up to the extreme, which it may struggle with here. I haven't done this one right to the extreme, but let's do that, seeing as we're waiting anyway. At how Adobe Photoshop will turn the head. There we are. So she's turned further away from the camera. I kind of like that. Now she's kind of looking at us to the side. That's nice, because we also have just at the top here the gaze. So I can't remember which way this goes, so this could look dreadful. Let's bring it down to minus 27 gaze points. And again, I'm not cutting any time out of this. I want you to see the time that it takes, for two reasons. One, so that you can you can assess its time, which is fine, but also, of course, you're watching this on YouTube, so you know, I'll let it run. I'm quite happy. Yeah. So let's wait for this one. Cheers. Okay, there we go. So now, oh dear. So she's looking over to the. I may have gone a little bit too far again on that one. So we've done the head turn and we've changed the gaze with it. she's taken on a whole new look there. Again, you know, she was perfectly fine. We might have to do something about that, but it was working okay. Let's take this down. I don't like that at all. Light direction is very good. Now this may save me some time because we can change where the direction of light is coming from. I'm going to take all this out, by the way, just so as we're working just on the light. So here the light direction works really, really nicely. Again, I'll take this up to the extreme and you may be able to see where the light direction is coming from will change, which is extraordinarily clever. We're still waiting for it. Don't panic. There you go. Look at that. Amazing. How cool is that? So it's taken the light around her head and given what you could consider as being a bit of fill light. So if you do have a bit of darkness on one side, this is a really nice way to do it. I would perhaps be, you know, getting out a brush and brushing this in if this was my image. Anyway, there you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask feathering. We've already seen the mask, and feathering is the transition from the blacks to the whites, how much it fades in grey in that point. We don't need to see that, it's just more time. And the experimental part is retain unique details. I think that should stay on, especially when you're doing head turning and things like that. Okay, let's get rid of this image for now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to our portrait of a beautiful woman. I'm sure she was beautiful. Alright, so let's go on to the next filter, neural filters, and I'm coming down into this one, which I'm not against this one. This is taking makeup from one subject and putting on another. So let's turn this one on, and all you've got to do here is choose the image. Okay, so we're here, we're into makeup, and I'm going to choose that lady that we just saw. She's got quite nice subtle makeup. There we go. Off it goes into the cloud, and it's going to look at this lady's makeup and try and apply it to this lady. There we go. We've got this smoky eyes, perhaps more pinky lips there, and actually it works quite well. I think I'm going to say this right, her eyebrows are on fleek. I've no idea what I just said, but I'm sure it's something good. Alright, so you know, good eyebrows, nice shiny eyes with smoky makeup, actually works incredibly well. If I turn this filter off in 3, 2, 1, there you go. You can see how it transferred it. Really clever, and I've had some really good results from this over time. Even the fact that her eye is partly covered there, it's still working nicely. I'm going to go and get another image to get this from. Choose from my files, and I'm going to choose this one here, which is kind of this vampire-ish kind of look. Off it goes, does its stuff on the cloud, and when it comes back, not a bad job, but we do have a couple of issues, especially around this eye and her eyebrows this time. It's kind of taken the brightness as well, so we've got some issues there, but generally it is very good. I love the way that it's done the lipstick as well. Very clever. So I'm going to turn this off in 3, 2, 1. There you go. Actually looks quite effective. So there we go. Alright, what's next? Oh, depth awareness. Okay, let's go to bridge. Oh, got to cancel out that one first. Let's go to bridge. Ding 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 ding. Depth, here we go. This is really cool. So here we have an image that obviously has a lot of depth to it as it goes down this avenue. Let's go to filter, neural filters, into beta again, and then we'll have a look at depth awareness. Here we go. So depth awareness, bosh. So here it's going to have a look at the depth of the image, of course, and then it's going to add some haze into it, and as it goes back, so it gives you more haze. Let's go quite up here, give it 100. It's just taken on a whole new look. Really clever. Now this compares a little bit to the dehaze that you may have come across in either Lightroom or Adobe Camera Raw. Works kind of in a similar way, but that depth awareness really does work nicely. We can add some warmth to this as well, and again it will go with the depth, so you can see that it's a bit more orangey down the bottom there. I'm going to take that off for now. You can see that again we can go to the different ways of outputting. I'm going to go to a smart filter because this image is just really good, just from that little bit of adding a little bit of haze. We've changed the feeling of it, but then of course we can add other filters to it. So we can go into, for example, Adobe Camera Raw and the dehaze. There it is. That's where we saw it before. So if I add some dehaze, you can see that we can actually pile it onto that as well. I'm not going to, and clarity we can take down if we wanted to, just to make it a bit more spooky, but in this case I might bring up the colors, the vibrance of the colors, put down in the saturation maybe, and that kind of thing. And because it annoys so many people, I'm also going to put a vignette on it. If I do a video without a vignette, there's something wrong, isn't there? Something wrong. So we've changed the way that one looks. Really, really clever. However, you know, I'm trying to give you the pluses and the negatives to all these things. With an image like this, not quite so. I mean, I'm not sure I'd want to put depth haze on this, but with an image like this, it's not quite so good. So depth aware. Let's add in a little bit of haze in there. It doesn't, even though we've got this stepping of cows, it will see that, but then everything else just seems to say that's flat. So it works okay. If we wanted to give sort of a bit of a morning dew kind of feeling to an image, we might want to do that. It works very well for that, but not as good as the last one, I don't think. Okay, good. Right, now on to the real positives. Ones I really, 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 really like. So I'm going to bring this one up first. This is brilliant Laurel and Hardy. I'm a big fan. Let's go to filter, neural filters, and let's see how it goes with this. Now you saw I had to blow that up, so it's quite a low quality JPEG, this one. But let's go into here and colorize. And I'm just going to turn that on. And right before your eyes, goes to the cloud, comes back, and bosh. I've said it before, I'll say it again, Photoshop is very good at seeing faces. So here we've got some black suits, black ties, but look what it's done with the hands and with the face here. Absolutely exquisite. Really good, really good. Now I have been complaining about the amount of time to go up to the cloud and back again, but not in this case, because I know that if you had to do a colour filter on this and then mask it out and all that kind of stuff, it would take longer than that. But it's done a really good job, and it's found the edges. If we go into the perhaps around his collar here, you can see, and it's a low quality JPEG. It's found the edge of the collar really well, and it's got those shadings in really, really well. Again, we can export how we like. We can change the colors should we wish. Now I've got to say, I've been messing around with this a little bit, and I've not really had to change those at all. I mean, a little bit of a tweak here and there, but as it comes out is absolutely fine. So big fan. I'm a big fan of the colorization. Let's take another image, and this time somebody else that I'm a bit of a fan of, Sammy Davis Jr. here. Let's go to filter, neural filters, and we can go to beta and the colorize and turn that on. Again, I'm going to touch nothing, goes to the cloud, does its stuff, comes back, and we'll see how it copes. There it is. Look at that. Beautiful skin tones, no matter what the skin tone was. It recognizes what the skin tone is and acts accordingly. Now we do have a bit of darkness on the hand, but I think that's from the shadow in the original image. But other than that, look at that, really nice. I wonder if his suit was actually that. I remember my dad having a suit like that, so I'm not going to criticize too much. But let's even put some color in the background, some reds there. I don't know if you can see it on here. Oh, actually, if you're seeing the colors that I'm seeing on the monitor, maybe looks a bit oversaturated, but there's some blue and there's some yellows down there as well. So done a very good job. Wonder if that was, yeah, it probably was. Really good, really good. You know, all credit to Adobe on this one. Absolutely bang on. Really, really good. Now, that said, because I'm in a negative mood, the AI in Photoshop is extraordinary. However, it does have some limitations. It's still learning, it's still growing, it's still being developed. So in this case, if we turn on the colorize, we've got 3 people and then various different vegetables. Now, Photoshop has done a brilliant job of the faces, we can see there. However, and the tops maybe, but it's not bothered with his shirt here, but it's gone, oh, that's probably green. The pumpkin is green, hasn't bothered with these ones. It's just, no, I don't know what they are. Don't know what colour they should be. And it's given her a green glove. It might have been a green glove. I can't remember. I did actually take the colour out of this. So what it does well, it does extraordinarily well, but there may still be work to do if you're doing an old photograph of maybe somebody in their allotment or next to their new car or whatever it may be. You may need to give it some help. But for portraits, this is absolutely bang on. Absolutely incredible. We're going to leave it on a high, really, because the next couple, Super Zoom and Artifacts, they're not, you know, they're not the sexy ones. So Super Zoom, we can zoom in to the image, so we can zoom in like this. Let's see if we can't get these people in the center. There we go. So we've zoomed in. We can change the noise reduction, or we can add some noise reduction. I wouldn't be surprised if that's coming from Lightroom and Adobe Camera Raw software engine, but we can add that in, and we can give it some sharpness, and of course we would want to enhance for face details. This takes a little bit of time. This is high processing. Now this is something that you may need extra software for at times, so actually for getting this within Photoshop is a pretty good deal. You know, like I say, it's not particularly sexy. It's not, you know, one of these colorization or, you know, any of the other ones we've seen, the makeup transfer, but it is very handy if you're making images for, especially for social media, and actually you want to get rid of all the stuff around the outside. That's done a very, very good job. Now I'm going to add to that the JPEG artifacts. So here it's on high, which is great, but you can also have it on low or medium, and again it's up in the cloud. Might take a few minutes, but again this is something that traditionally we might have had third-party software from. So great, we've got this in here. So when you blow up a JPEG, or maybe it's a low quality JPEG, the artifacts there are often seen around the edges. So as it goes around an edge, you'll see that there's other like speckles around the edge, and it doesn't look very clean. So what this is doing is it's cleaning it all up and making sure that everything blends together nicely. So those two actually go well hand in hand. You're blowing up a JPEG image, but then you're getting rid of the artifacts as well. The image of Laurel and Hardy there might have been a good one to do as well, to get rid of some of the artifacts when I blew it up big as well. So these ones I'm actually quite impressed with. So the Colorize, very impressed with portraits. Super Zoom, very helpful. JPEG artifact removal, that's nice. That'll come in helpful, I'm sure, for a lot of people. Even the makeup transfer I might use from time to time. Depth aware, possibly. Smart portrait, I'm going to go into Liquify, thanks very much. Probably never use it, but it's there. If it became a local thing for local people, then I might do that. I've just lost half my audience there. No idea what I'm talking about. So if it's done locally, then it might be a little bit better. I might be more inclined to use it. But now, while it's going up to the cloud, maybe not so much. There's some great things in the pipeline. We can see here that photo restoration may be quite interesting. I know a lot of people that use Photoshop for photo restoration. If it's going to be professional quality, then I expect this will be a good starting point. But if you're doing it at home, then it might be good. Dust and scratches, we've had dust and scratches for a while as a filter, but I'm assuming this is going to be much better. It certainly looks better on there. Noise reduction, face cleanup, sketch, photo to sketch. Now maybe this is where I'm getting a bit Photoshop snobbery, because this effect was my entry to Photoshop's next Photoshop Evangelist. Adobe Next Photoshop Evangelist was doing this very thing. So, you know, go and look at it. That was about 9 years ago. Sketch to portrait could be interesting. Pencil artwork and face to caricature I'm very much looking forward to. I've clicked the I'm interested button on that one because I think that is a great effect. Now I know that Dick McClelland has a very good tutorial for doing this very effect, so you should perhaps go and have a look at that. If I remember, I'll put a link up somewhere, but it's very, very good. Okay, so that is neural filters. We have two that are ready to go, that are well, I expect they're still in development, but they've reached their point that they are good to go. And then we have these beta ones as well for now that are in development. So if you are working on these and you do get the result you're looking for, then help the Adobe devs please by clicking either yes or no, depending on the result that you're expecting and got. And that, my friends, is about that. That's probably one of the longest videos I've done for a very long time. I'm going to leave all the ums and ahs and the mistakes in. But I will see you next time. Thanks very much for watching. Bye bye for now.